So this is the Scribe home screen when you first log into bookings. So do obviously remember again, please, we do ask everybody when you're logging into Scribe to log in through Google Chrome. Scribe has been optimized for use with Google. And even if you've got sort of a MacBook and you're used to logging on with Safari, we'd still recommend that you do open up that Google browser for logging into all of the products. So the screen looks very similar to accounts in that you've got this big bar that goes across the top with your council name in the right-hand corner and the home screen when you're welcomed. The difference with bookings to accounts is that we've got a purple bar across the top rather than a blue bar, but other than that, the setup is very similar. So next to your council name, which is on the right-hand side of the screen, you've got these 4 little dots here. 4 little squares, and depending on the products that you have, this is where you can switch between accounts and bookings, or obviously cemetery and allotments if you have those as well. Also, just next to that, you've got the little question mark here. So the question mark is lovely because that's what opens up the training session. As I said, we're on that first sort of initial setup for bookings today. But if you do want to go on and sort of, carry on with the second part for adding your bookings in, then you can access that through the Training Academy there. Alternatively, we've got the help section. So the help section, if we just scroll down, we've got the knowledge base with a big section here dedicated for new users. So certainly worthwhile coming back here after today's session. It's got 2 further folders in here. One is a bookings overview and the other is your quick start guide. So going to the overview itself, you've got your basic navigation for Scribe bookings, and then there's the training videos here as well. Just using that back browser button, if I wanted to go to that quick start guide. So today, as I said, we're covering initial setup. Then again, we've got all of those individual quick start guides on all of the topics that we'll be covering. So your next steps, your booking fees, your dates, your customer types, etc. as well. So heading back to bookings then, we've got the same menu items that appear down the left-hand side of the screen. And also, as I said, that council name in the top right-hand corner. So just general navigation, general housekeeping for Scribe. When you do log in, you have got your council name in the top right-hand corner. So do make sure you should have been directed here when you did first log in, and you received that welcome email or that new password to log in to Scribe or Scribe bookings, you should really come to this edit profile menu here and just update your password. So pop in your current password and obviously update that to 1, so you've got that full control over that as well. So again, going up into that top right-hand corner, this is the edit profile for updating your password. The other option that we've got here is your council profile. So the council profile is your council name. It does open up your account menu on the left-hand side, but you can still access it from here in the top right as well. Your council name, you're going to need that. That's obviously going to appear on your bookings website as the actual council name. So do make sure that that's typed in correctly. I've got an address here as well. I've suffixed my address with a telephone number. That's just because that's going to appear on any invoices that I might be sending from the system as well. Sometimes councils like to have an email address, some like to have a telephone number. You don't have to have these in there, but obviously if you want them to appear on the invoices, this is where it comes from. So do make sure that they're up to date. Scrolling down within the council profile as well, we've got a section here for automated message notifications. So you've got the one here for bookings. There's a council's correspondence email address. So do make sure that you've got that there. Obviously, as people are going to be making the bookings online, they need to know how to contact you. So do make sure that there's an email address in there. We've then got some standard automated settings for notifications that are sent via the website when customers are actually making those online bookings. So when they make them, do you want them to receive an email if the booking status changes? Do you want them to receive an SMS when the booking status changes? So they can obviously have them both, or they can just have one or the other. So you can choose these as the sort of standard response. You can customize them for individuals as well, but just the sort of main general system settings, pop a tick in the box if you want them to receive either or both that email and SMS message. You can also email the customer and SMS them when the bookings reminders are due. So if you do want to sort of send out that message to them a day before they've booked into the session, you can click onto there as well. And then there's an overview automated email for the clerk when public bookings are made. So this is just the main one that will always come through. There's no actual warning or there's no ping or notification to actually say when somebody's made that booking online. And sometimes people like to actually receive that notification and actually have that ping in their email to tell them that somebody's made an online booking. So if you'd like to have that go into your email address as well, you can tick that box and it will come through to you. As we look further into the setup of bookings, you've also got the ability to type in an individual email address because it might be a different person for different venues. If it's the same, you can just pop it in here. If it's individual, then we'll look at that for the venues themselves. So that's your council profile menu and also editing your profile for your words. We'll now move on to the actual council settings before we move into your setup menu. So we've looked at the council profile, edit profile, council settings. This one is just, you might have already been using it in accounts, but if you haven't so far, this just looks at those settings for updating that invoice. So the ability to add that picture into the header of your invoices and also that default invoice footer text. So if you haven't got one yet, to add a new one, edit and add a record in the top right hand corner. Obviously, if you've already got one here as I have, you can just use the 3 vertical dots on the right hand side and go in to edit it. So here you can choose a file to upload that header that goes on to the top right hand corner of your invoice. Best sizing for that is 800 by 500. But if you're not very familiar with that or you're struggling with it at all, just drop an email to hello@scribeaccounts.com. We'll gladly import that for you. And here you've got that invoice footer text as well. So that's just going to filter through onto those invoices within Scribe.